There's a line in Hazbin Hotel that reveals both the show's core conflict and its necessary resolution if it's going to wrap up all the ideas it's introduced. In episode 6, Charlie presents to Heaven her plan to redeem sinners and tries to convince the angels to help her. During the meeting, it's revealed that no one in heaven, neither the angels nor the human souls, knows what makes someone worthy of going to heaven or condemned to go to hell. People just show up in one place or the other, and everyone assumes that they're in the right place.
We know when a soul arrives. We know when they pass divine judgment.
This means that people, human souls, are being held to standards that everyone's just kind of guessing at. In their frustration, Princess of Hell Charlie and Seraphim Emily sing,
"If hell is forever, then heaven must be a lie.
Emily.
If angels can do whatever and remain in the sky."
This line exposes the core issue that keeps the angels from rallying behind Charlie's cause of redeeming sinners, and this core conflict will need to be resolved if the show is to have a satisfying ending. The thing is, angels can't do whatever and remain in the sky. We see lots of rude angels in the show. They're crass, mean, they're constantly sinning, yet they remain angels. At first, it sure does look like they can do whatever and remain in the sky, but there's one essential thing that they can never do, and it's the first thing that happens in the whole show before we even meet our protagonist. We hear the story of how Lucifer fell. He was a dreamer with too many ideas.
Lucifer was one of these angels. He was a dreamer with fantastical ideas for all of creation.
He refused to toe the line and do what he was told.
But he was seen as a troublemaker by the elders of heaven, for they felt his way of thinking was dangerous to the order of their world.
He corrupted humans by giving us the knowledge of good and evil.
Together, they wished to share the magic of free will with humanity, offering the fruit of knowledge to Adam's new bride, Eve, who gladly accepted.
And he was cast away where he could only ever see the bad that had come from what he had done.
As punishment for their reckless act, heaven cast Lucifer and his love into the dark pit he had created, never allowing him to see the good that came from humanity, only the cruel and the wicked.
So angels can do anything they want except question the system, and they keep each other in check by using Lucifer as an example.
Please, if you start to question, you could end up like Lucifer, fallen. I couldn't bear to see you suffer that fate.
It's tempting to think of heaven and hell as the places where the good and the bad people go. Adam sings in Hell is Forever that it's as simple as,
"Are they winners? Are they sinners? 'Cause it's cut and dry."
But when Charlie shows that a soul can improve and they're still in hell, she reveals the flaw in this thinking. She shows that it's not about whether you're a good person or a bad person, because the angels can behave well or poorly and sinners can behave well or poorly, and nothing changes.
The rules are shades of gray when you don't do as you say, when you make the wretched suffer just to kill them again.
When you look at this system as a means of rewarding the good and punishing the bad, then it looks to be full of hand-selected exceptions. But this is only because she doesn't understand the paradigm. Heaven and hell aren't about good and evil because people weren't supposed to know about either good or evil. We say that's what they're about, but only because it's more palatable than the truth. Heaven and hell are about obedience and disobedience, and that's why Charlie Morningstar is so disruptive to the system. Charlie Morningstar obeys nobody. She fights the system by casting her own judgment that sinners are worthy of redemption. Her signature move is to give grace, which in a religious sense is unmerited favor. You don't deserve it, but you get it anyway. Specifically, grace is God's unmerited favor. What right does Charlie have to give grace to anyone? She should, if she were holy, just enact God's will and punish those cast down to hell, but she doesn't, because she's good. She's irredeemably kind and generous, and believes in people enough to help them. When Sir Pentious attacks the hotel, she tells Alistair when he's had enough.
Please! Alistair, I think he's had enough!
When he returns to the hotel asking for a chance to redeem himself, she welcomes him in.
I heard that you're helping people. People who want to be better.
You heard right. Welcome to our home of healing, our resort of restoration,
Are you fucking nuts? This chump was trying to kill us like literally 6 hours ago.
And when he's revealed to be a plant, she offers him a chance to try again.
Pentious? It starts with sorry.
She greets Cherry Bomb warmly even after she destroys Charlie's wall.
Hi, Charlie. That's my wall that you just blew up. It's so nice to meet one of Angel's friends.
She even pulls her dad off of Adam after he's been neutralized.
Don't forget, you're in my house, bitch!
Whoa, Dad. He's had enough.
She's wronged again and again, her property destroyed, her trust betrayed, herself disrespected, but she gives grace. She follows her own sense of right and wrong, which is a level of self-determination that gets one thrown out of heaven. See, Lucifer isn't the only fallen angel in this show. Avagi was an exorcist angel right up until she showed compassion for a sinner and spared the unworthy.
Run now.
For giving grace when she had no authority or right to do so, Vaggie had her eye torn out and her wings cut off, and she was left in hell.
Simple filth like you has no place in heaven.
She gives grace one other time when she fights Lute, the same angel who punished her. Vaggie neutralizes Lute, pinning her under rubble, and then leaves her alive. To Lute, it's an insult. Who's Vaggie to give Lute grace? Only God can give grace. How dare she add insult to injury this way?
Do it then. Correct your mistake. Seriously, you're pathetic, you know that? Ready to die rather than accepting mercy? No. Live. Live knowing that you only do because I let you. A failure.
The consequence of the angel's mindset of blind obedience is the need to justify it. This is most evident in the characters who understand the system most thoroughly and take an active role in facilitating it. For example, Sarah argues that the system is complicated and can't be scrutinized in simple morality. In You Didn't Know, when Emily asks why they're turning their backs on a soul who has improved, Sarah replies,
"It's not as simple as you think. Not everything is spelled in ink."
And when Charlie insists that if someone can improve, then they should be able to leave hell, Sarah sings,
"I'm sure you wish it could be so, but there's a lot that you don't know."
Lute takes another tactic. Rather than justifying the system itself, she argues that the outcomes are justified. Right as Charlie and Emily walk Sarah up to the point of spilling some answers, Lute cuts them off by asking,
What are we even talking about? Some crack or who fucked up already?
to her, the fact that he's in hell makes him worthy of contempt. He's beneath her consideration. Justifying the system and justifying the outcomes are two different tactics of terminating the conversation that Charlie needs to have in order to save her people. I'm reminded of a saying, you can't educate someone on a topic when their paycheck depends on them not understanding it. Charlie's in the situation where the people she needs to convince refuse to understand because their stay in heaven is contingent on their towing the line, keeping their heads down, and not asking questions. What we have in the end is a fractured morality where you can behave as badly as you want as long as you never question God's plan or try to exert your will, and where the same freedom that allows you to be evil and make mistakes also allows you to do things like forgive and extend amnesty. While the focus of season 1 was to save souls by sending them to heaven, that can no longer be the sole focus of the show because we now know too much about the flaws of the system. It wouldn't be satisfying if our cast of characters simply trade one set of chains for another. To get an actual happy ending, we need heaven to become the kind of place where people actually want to go when they die. Sure, it's got nice stuff like rainbow sprinkles and soft animals, but there are also rules and restrictions on what you can do, say, and think.
Oh boy, heaven is not exactly as carefree as you might think. Yeah, they have rules. Lots of rules.
So in order for the show to resolve satisfactorily, heaven needs to be reformed. It's teased at the end of season 1 just how revolutionary Charlie's plan really is.
Your brat is threatening the very foundation of heaven. And if you want to stay here, you're going down there and stopping that bitch.
Charlie's going to have to do what her father couldn't and convince God to change. Can she do it? Well, I'll get more into this in my video about Charlie's season 1 character arc and rhetorical journey, but I do think that's where the show is taking her. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.